Hi, I'm Leslie, Sister Wives. So Kody is just stinking mad. He is just cannot even handle the fact that Christine is leaving and breaking up his dream of having this polygamous family, him being the patriarch and running everything. I mean, with all the adoration of all the kids and the wives and the offspring, and it's all crumbling before his eyes, and he is pissed. But before I jump into all that, please subscribe and hit that notification bell.
I've got what feels like very strained relationships with a bunch of the kids. I'm not in a good place with everybody. I don't feel like I've got the respect that I should have.
So Kody doesn't feel like he has the respect he once had. Well, let's just dive right into this because you know what? He doesn't. He doesn't have that respect anymore, and he has himself to thank for it. So Janelle has bought a fifth wheel to move onto the land so that she can build. They're keeping all 5 plots, even though Christine has hit the road and doesn't want hers. It sounds like there was no money in it because she was willing to just walk, it almost sounded like, and just hand it over to them. They need a truck to pull the trailer. As Robin said, no, you don't. You could pull it with a rented truck. But then here's my first bone of contention with him.
I saw my sister-in-law, my brother's widow, back in the holidays, and I was like, if you're ever going to sell that truck, then I'd like to buy it.
Kody, I thought you said you didn't go anywhere. I thought you weren't doing anything. Remember, you were bunkering down, not seeing any friends and everything? I guess you saw your brother's widow over the holidays? What happened to the COVID protocols? So much of this episode, just nothing made sense. Nothing is adding up. I think there is going to be one conclusion at the end I will come to, but nothing really adds up. But let's just go on with this. So he buys his brother's truck. I guess he's since died. I didn't know that. He buys his truck because they needed to pull the 5th wheel, which makes no sense. So you can't keep the 5th wheel on the property for consecutive 120 days. And I'm assuming that's because they don't want it to be stationary, because then it's basically a house and they're going to charge you. I'm assuming you would have to pay taxes if it's like a house, if it can't be moved. So you have to move it every 120 days. Well, you move it over across the thing for a day and then you move it back. Like, I don't understand why it would plant itself on another person's property. They just need to know it's still a mobile, housing thing. But this whole thing with his protocols, I'm just so baffled. He's obviously seen family. We don't know how much. Everybody else wants to see their family. They have older kids that their families have extended out of their little commune on the property there in the little Flagstaff area. Robin's lucky hers are all there. But Robin, so she also had a babysitter because she and Kody were so busy during the day that they needed the babysitter to care for the kids. What are they doing? We still don't know what they're so busy doing because I still don't know what he does. If anyone does, please let me know in the comments because anyway, but so Robin's kids, I guess the 3 older ones, they have a dad, and she's alluded to that's not a good situation either. Are you telling me that they haven't seen their dad in 2 years? And if they haven't, is that what's healthiest for their kids? Because that still is their biological dad, unless he was just a major, major dirtbag. I mean, compared to Kody. I guess Kody is loving them because they're all, adoring him because they're younger. But all these double standards, therein lies the problem, why he doesn't have respect. As the kids get older and they can actually see and make up their minds for themselves, they see the unfairness that's going on with their own mothers and their own siblings and how there is favoritism. And he blew it himself. He's crying and he's angry now, but it's like he only has himself to blame. I mean, if you were going to take on this polygamous thing, you had a job to do also, and that was to keep these 4 wives happy and content and certainly feeling equally valued. And he has failed so short in this. I mean, he's basically got 1 remaining wife left. And I feel that once their kids are out of that younger stage, you start looking back at your own life, and that's when it's all going to fall, that's when it's all going to go south. And that's what's happened with Christine. She's like, you know what? I dealt with it for my kids, but you know what? Now my life is here. They've moved on. Now it's about me. Mary's just in the oddest place, that she's just happy and content to just like stay the course. She is all in, committed, and doing what she has to do. And another sad thing, it's just there's no level of Kody that is at all anything you can respect. I mean, Mary's over there very sad. She just lost her mother unexpectedly. And it sounds like she's spending days alone in the house. I mean, he doesn't have to be intimate with her, but I would like to think he could spend some nights over there with Mary and like just be there as a friend in a very tough time. Her daughter And her girlfriend came, and that's what your family does. That's what friends do. You come around people that are, you know, in a time of sorrow. And Kody, I do not think, we don't know for sure, but nowhere to be found there. And, you know, ever so sensitive Kody offered, you know, Mary to just move up to the B&B. I mean, why he feels the need to solve these people's problems. He has wives capable of solving all their problems himself. She got this house on her own. She can figure out how to manage it from this point. She doesn't need any help from him. So we also had Isabel's graduation party. And right away off the top, I was like, huh? With the protocols? Yet everyone can come to this party if they're vaccinated or have had a rapid test. I don't know what any of that. I mean, vaccinated does nothing these days. I mean, maybe this was early on, but not to get into it, just made no sense to me. If they could have done that for this party, you know. And it was a great party. You know, they all had happy times, and Christine is just happy. She sees her whole full life ahead of her. Robin's like crying, like, isn't this worth saving? But there's not worth saving because all the adult children have basically moved on. There was very few of them that come back to these parties because they're all out of the state. They've all left and started their own lives. There's just a handful left.
I cannot get out from under this cloud of sadness. And it's because of the nuance of a breakup. And I don't know what this is going to lead to. I don't know what else is going to go on.
So Kody's mind is spinning and is just, he doesn't know what will come next. Well, I have a feeling what will come next. You know, it was interesting when they talked about the properties. They had 5 properties now. Christine has relinquished her willingly because she wants out of Flagstaff and back to Utah. So now they have 5 properties, yet they're still deciding to split them all evenly. You know, have 5 properties and they're going to build 2 houses on the remaining. One for on Kody's property, and another one they're going to rent it out. How bizarre would that be for a renter to rent one of the sister wives' properties? But anyway, I'm not buying any of this. I mean, they don't even have the money to pay off all this. I don't know, where are all the funds from the TV show? Don't these people get paid for these reality shows? I don't understand. I would love to know how much they make. But anyway, supposedly none of this has been paid for. I mean, they have to pay it off before they can subdivide the lots again to change the borders and everything. But he's keeping that 5th property because what I'm convinced, you know, Mary's basically gone and he could care less whether she stays around or not. Janelle is not a sexual relationship. It's just there in spirit and she's finding her own way, doing her own thing as it is. And he doesn't want to stay in that camper with her. I mean, that's like slumming it over there. Christine is gone. What do you think's going to happen? I think it's time he's going to want a 5th wife. Well, it'll be 4 again. And she's going to live on that other stretch of land over there. That's what I'm guessing. It might take a year before we see this. But as someone with his mentality, he needs another adoring wife. And what comes with adoring wife is you have more children. And the thing about children is they love you. They love you unconditionally. They adore you, especially your dad who doesn't have all the time in the world. So that when you see them, you worship them and you love them all the more, until they grow up and become adults and form their own opinions about how their family works as a whole. But until then, that is what he needs. So I have a feeling, I'm predicting right now, there's going to be another wife on the horizon. Anyway, none of this really added up this week. I was just perplexed by it all their decisions. Nothing really makes sense to me. But anyway, if you liked my recap, of course I'm roped into this and I do love this show because it's just such nonsense. But if you like my recap, please subscribe and help our mighty channel and hit that notification bell and leave any comments, especially if you know what Kody does for a friggin' living, what he does all day. That's what I want to know. That is the burning question in my brain. Please comment below. Someone has to know out there in TV land, not that they'd be seeing this video, but I want to know. I mean, what does he do? Why is he so busy? What is he doing? Because they're not taking care of the kids. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.